blue eyes, a pale mustache, and a scar that ran from his temple to his chin. The other man was younger, 23 or 24 at the most, Cohen decided, plump, with a round, pink-cheeked baby face. They came into the office and stood facing Cohen, and the pink-cheeked man said, "That's him?" "That's him," said the sandy-haired man. Cohen stood up slowly, staring at the sandy-haired man, who grinned at him complacently. "He's one big son of a bitch," the pink-cheeked man said. Cohen came around the desk, stared for a moment more, and then threw his arms around the sandy-haired man, sweeping him up in an enormous bear hug. The pink-cheeked man watched and nodded. "You're killing me with affection, you dumb slob," the sandy-haired man managed to say. Cohen let go of him. "This is Herbie Goodman," the sandy-haired man said. "Herbie, I want you to meet Bernie Cohen." They shook hands. "You're a legend," Herbie said. "You are absolutely a legend." "How in hell did you find me?" Cohen asked. "We got our ways. You'd be surprised what ways we got." Barbara Lavette's child was born 6 months after she married Bernie Cohen and became Barbara Lavette Cohen, or, as the gossip column hastened to point out, Barbara Selden Lavette Cohen. The reference was pointed, since the Selden family had been part of the tight, high-walled circle that constituted San Francisco society for almost 100 years, which now, in 1948, spanned the whole age of San Francisco. Scandal and the juicy gossip that flows from it had begun when Barbara's father, Dan Lavette, the son of Italian immigrants, had wooed and won the daughter of the banker Thomas Selden. Jean Selden, the banker's daughter and Barbara's mother, had subsequently divorced Dan Lavette, married the very wealthy John Whittier, divorced him, and now lived openly and out of wedlock with her first husband, a condition that provided some of the best dinner table and cocktail party conversation that San Francisco had known in a long while. The marriage of Jean and Dan's daughter, Barbara Lavette, to one Bernie Cohen, a more or less indigent soldier of fortune, a man without family or past or future, and a Jew to boot, heightened the gossip to a point of delightful titillation. When 6 months after this marriage, a son was born to Barbara at Mount Zion Hospital with no attempt at concealment, the resulting structure of gossip and scandal reached a new level of interest. To all this, Barbara was indifferent. When she considered the stages of her life, it was always with the sense of being a late finisher. Her childhood had been long and lonely. Her adolescence had continued beyond the suggested boundaries, and her age of innocence had extended into her college years. She felt that she had never caught up with a proper calendar of life. In 1946, at the age of 32, she had her first and only child. Dr. Kelman, who saw her through her pregnancy, was not worried about her age. He said that 32 was by no means too late to begin childbearing. Barbara was a tall, strong, and healthy woman, and Kelman assured her that the birth would present no difficulties. She rejected the use of anesthesia. Until the last month, her pregnancy had been relatively easy, and she said to her husband, "I may or may not have another child." "Or 2 or 3 more," he put in. "Another," I said. "Never mind about 2 or 3 more. The point is that I want to experience this and experience it fully. I want to know what happens and how it happens." "So you can write about it? That's crazy." "I write about what I've seen and experienced, and it's not so crazy at all." Bernie was with her when her labor began, and he wanted to remain with her in the hospital. After the first 2 hours, when her moans at each contraction became screeches of agony, Dr. Kelman persuaded Bernie to leave the room. 12 hours later, her strength gone, her agony tearing her mind apart, they decided that her pelvic opening was too small and that the child could not come through the birth canal. A cesarean section was performed, and a 9-pound boy came into the world. Now, 15 months later, Barbara was sitting in the nursery of her home on Green Street, instructing her son in the proper pronunciation of dump truck. His name was Samuel Thomas Cohen. The Samuel was for Sam Goldberg, who had been Barbara's lawyer, who had been much beloved of her, and who had once owned the Victorian house in which she now lived. Thomas was her grandfather Selden's name. Young Samuel was a large, chubby, healthy child, with brown hair, blue eyes, and 5 fingers on each hand and 5 toes on each foot, all Barbara had asked for. This evening, feeding Samuel his dinner and introducing a modest dose of linguistics, Barbara was listening for the sound of the door downstairs that would tell her Bernie was back, providing he had decided to come home for dinner and not work until 10 or 11 or midnight. Another part of her mind was engaged